But like I said, once again, I appreciate y'all hopping in here. We always talking about business funding. Always talking about how, you can use it to scale your business and, obviously not only just scale your business, but beyond that, right? So, structure is definitely important, and understanding what to do with the structure, understanding how to use the business funding. But a lot of the times we get stuck on the part of actually getting the funding, right? We always hear about the about SBA loans and merchant cash advance and all those other things that may not help us at the time, right? We want to go to the things that are most important, right? We want to go to the things that can actually help us grow, right? Something that's a little bit more than just a merchant cash advance, a little bit more than just a bank statement loan. We want to go to something that can be 5 years, 10 years, that can actually help us grow and propel our business, right? Marvin said he got an accounting business. So for Marvin, we can't expect Marvin to go and get a merchant cash advance, because guess what? His money doesn't flow in as frequently as a construction company or something else, right? It really, that won't be useful for him, right, Marvin? That won't be useful for you at all. So we have to find better ways and better alternatives that make sense. We have to, because if we don't, then we're just going to be sitting down and not knowing what the heck it is that we're trying to do. So one of the most important things is just understanding where you can get the funding from that actually makes sense, and what qualifications that are needed in order for you to get the funding, right? So obviously we know that good personal credit is one of the most important things, even though a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't know that good personal credit is something they need in order for them to get a business loan, a business line of credit, or even a business credit card from a bank. But we're here to give you that information, because guess what? We're Millionaire Essentials, and we want to share that information with you, because out of everybody on the internet, we've been doing this for a while. I don't know if you guys been in our webinars before, but I think it was from, what was it, Brandon? From October to like February, we had a webinar every single week, new topics, new people. And what kept coming down to it is that people still didn't have the funding to even understand how they can put it towards their credit, put it towards starting a business, put it towards even having an idea first. But we were able to understand that, tweak the webinars a little bit, and really just hone in and focus on the funding aspect, because that's the most important thing. So Brandon, you free? What's going on? What's going on, my guy?
What's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing? How many people we got on this call? How's everybody doing? So, first thing, that's a great point that you brought up, Tevin, as far as knowing the qualifications for getting funding, and basically meeting those qualifications. So basically, that's something we want to really, really go over and stress on this call and throughout the call, is having that set up and having those guidelines in place, because a lot of things are changing with the banks, right? A lot of things are changing in this fourth quarter and going into next year. They're talking about it might be another shutdown. They talk about it might be another recession. And it's getting a lot harder for people to get capital. So the same rules that applied last time is not necessarily applying. So we want to make sure our credit is in par. We want to make sure our foundation, as far as our LLC is set up correctly, as far as all the foundational steps are in place to really start maximizing and getting this funding. So we still can get access to no-doc loans, right? But it's not as easy as it was in like 2021, 2022, 2020, because the banks are tightening up the rules. So some of the things that they are tightening up is, before we could go in blind, get 50K, 100K off of having no relationships. One thing I want you guys to really start doing, these no-doc banks, start making relationships. Start setting up that bank account, seasoning that, put some money in that account, maybe do some transactions, then apply for funding. You're going to have a way higher chance on getting funding, especially a no-doc line of credit, when you go in and have a healthy relationship with the bank. Instead of just going in blind, they don't know who you are, they don't know what your background is, and then applying for that no-doc loan, line of credit. For example, like PNC. PNC used to be, we used to get funding from PNC a lot of times, 50K, 60K, 70K. Now they're denying people based on no relationship and not a high enough credit score. So they're tightening up their guidelines. So for somebody like a PNC, I would set up an account, put some money in there, do some transactions, then apply for the line of credit, then apply for the business credit card. You're going to look way better and you're going to have a higher rate of approval if you set up that relationship. It's just like dating, right? You're going to get away with a lot more once your partner gets to know you. Once you guys establish some boundaries, some guidelines, you guys get comfortable around each other, then you're going to get away with a little more things. Then it's first date going in, trying to do whatever you want, then it might be a hard no. So you want to establish that relationship first. So the no-doc banks like PNC, M&T, Truist. Truist is another one. Truist is tightening up a lot of their guidelines too. Truist, US Bank. Let's start setting up the relationships at these major banks, putting some money in these accounts and actually using them, and then applying for credit. And I will urge you guys to try to get that profile as strong as possible. So I know we say minimum 680 for the no-doc loans and lines of credit. I would try to get it to a 720. For example, with M&T specifically, right? M&T is a no-doc bank in the New York tri-state area. They go down to the DMV area as well. They go up to 100K on a no-doc line of credit. They'll give you about 25K on the credit card, right? 25, 30K on the credit card. If you have a 720 and above, a strong 720 and above, more than likely you can apply for a no-doc line of credit, and your LLC is 2 years old. You can apply for a no-doc line of credit, and you will be able to get between 50 and 100 grand without you being able to show documents and without them having to go to the SBA. Now, what that means, if you have less than a 720, somewhere around a 680, you can apply for a no-doc line of credit. More than likely, if you have less than a 720, they're going to refer you to the SBA. What that means is the SBA backs a lot of bankers across the country, a lot of banks across the country, the SBA backs. When you go to the SBA, the Small Business Administration, they're going to ask for documentation. It doesn't mean you're not going to get the no-doc line. No, it doesn't mean you're not going to get the line of credit or funding. But once you go to the SBA, they're going to ask for documentation. So if you don't have a strong enough credit profile, or you have a high-risk business, that's another key one, they're going to send you to the SBA. That's when they ask for docs. So now they're going to send you to the SBA. The SBA is going to check out your business. It may be a little high risk, or your profile is not strong enough to qualify for a no doc. So they're going to say, you know what, go to the SBA, show some more documentation so you qualify. Then we may be able to get you some funding. So those are some of the hurdles we want to overcome. We want a strong enough profile where they trust us. We want to establish a relationship. And third, we want to have a business that's not high risk or red flag. So these are some of the key things when it comes to funding. It ain't all just cut and dry and simple. And that's why we're on here teaching you guys the right way for you guys to go into these banks and get qualified. Put some ones in the chat if y'all follow me. Put some ones in the chat if that was some value I just got. I want to make sure you guys are following me. Put some ones in the chat. And anybody is not on this call that needs to be on this call, send this Zoom out. Make sure they need to get on this call. They jump in this room because we're going to drop a lot of gems that's going to help you guys get some funding. All right. So let's repeat, right? We want to establish relationships with the banks, right? Set up an account, put some money in it. If you have some capital that you're able to put in a bank account, let sit as much as you can. The more you put in there, the stronger relationship it will build because you get a bank rating score. So put some money in it, do some transactions, open that business account, do some transactions, let it season for maybe about 30 days, do some transactions, then apply for a line of credit, business credit card. Number two, make sure your credit score, I would suggest to be 720 above to ensure they don't ask for documents. That is to ensure they don't ask for documents. Number three, make sure your business is not a high-risk business. Now, some people do trucking, right? Some people do real estate. Some people have some of these high-risk businesses, right? Even if you do that business, you have to represent it like it's a safe business. What I mean by that is we have to choose the names of our business smart, and we have to choose the NAICS code for our business smart. So the NAICS code, NAICS codes, you can go on the NAICS website, and they have a list of high-risk businesses and red flag businesses to avoid. So when you go into that bank, right, even if your business is for real estate, even if your business is for trucking, even if your business is ATM machines, these are some high-risk businesses. You don't go in there and tell them you do ATMs, you do trucking, you do real estate. We want a safe name. We want a name that has consulting, maybe enterprises in it, maybe a generic name, a very generic name, because we're going in there to get funded. We just want to qualify. And then you have to describe what your business does. So if you do real estate, right, I would just say, I do management consulting. I do management consulting. You got to make sure you know how to talk to the bankers and go according to the guidelines of what they think is safe. A lot of consulting industries are safe. A lot of administrative industries are safe. A lot of educational industries are safe. So we want to go in there when they ask you what your NAICS code is, you have to give them a safe NAICS code and give them a safe description of what your business does. So we should be writing down 3 to 4 sentences, a 3 to 4 sentence description of what your business does. That's what they're looking for when you go in and fill out these applications and you go into these banks. These are the keys to getting there and getting these no-doc loans. They're not just going to give them to you. It's like I said, they were giving them to people 2 or 3 years ago. Now everybody's defaulting on these loans and not paying them back. And now we're going right back in the same cycle, how the country usually goes. Remember, cyclical, it goes up and it goes down. So now we're going back defaulting. People don't know how to pay back loans. Now the banks are tightening up their restrictions. So now we got to start going about this smart. Y'all following me? Put some fires in the chat if everybody's following along with me. Put some fires in the chat if you're following along with these qualifications and guidelines. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, Steve? All right.
All right.
Now, next thing. Now, those are the guidelines where we're talking about no docs, right? So the next thing I want to go over, another thing we talk about, finding actual banks, right? Finding banks that we can get funding for. So I know we talk about a lot of the same banks that we preferably use, like M&T, right? These are the no-doc banks, M&T, right? PNC, US Bank, Truist, Univest. These are some of the no-doc banks on the East Coast that we use, right? There's also a couple credit unions, right? That you can use for no-docs, but everybody's in different locations. So I'm not from California, right? I'm not from Louisiana. I'm not from Texas, right? I'm from New York. So I may know about my location, but you guys are in different locations with a whole bunch of different banks. So I may not know all the banks in your locations you could get funding from. You guys got to start going out and finding banks in your area. You don't have to necessarily set up an LLC all the way across the country because you know that bank gives out funding. There are banks in your location that may be secret gems, smaller credit unions or regional banks that I may not see that can give out funding. You guys got to start going out there and scouting banks. A couple things that I use usually to scout banks is 2 websites, right? Anybody knows 2 websites I use? Type in the chat. I want to know who's been on these calls before. Type in the chat if you know the 2 websites I usually use to look for banks. I want to see how many people have been actually jumping on these calls. Yes, iBankNet, and I use Bank Branch Locator, right? So when you go on iBankNet, right, this is the strategy I urge you guys to do going on iBankNet.com. Matter of fact, I'm going to share my screen and do it with you, right? This is how I go on iBankNet. Let me know if y'all can see my screen. Can y'all see my screen? Type yes in the chat if you can see my screen.
Yes.
All right, good. So this is iBankNet, right? So if I was just randomly, right, I need to look for some banks in my vicinity, right? So they have a bank map right here, right? It's a map of the whole entire country, right? So you can click on this map, select the state. Let's just say, let's go to any state, right? Random state. North Carolina. Let's go to North Carolina, right? Now they go, these are all the banks in North Carolina. This is the Federal Savings Associations, and this is the credit unions. 105 institutions in North Carolina. And this is how much deposits and assets they have going in and out for each one. Now you can select the county. You can get as specific as the county. What I would do is you could go down to your county if you want to go down to your county, but I'll go on and check the banks, right? What banks is in North Carolina? Now I will look up the top 10 to 15 banks that are doing the most money, right? In some states, it could be top 10. Some states, it may be smaller, maybe top 5, depending on how big the state. So I'll look up like maybe the top 10 banks, right? And then I'll just go through them to see what products do they have. So coincidentally, they have Bank of America, of course. Truist Bank, which is a no-doc bank. First Citizens. First Citizens also gives out business lines of credit. Actually, we have a program, a good relationship with First Citizens, that we can get some pretty high lines of credit and loans if you have some income coming in and you have to show your last 3 bank statements. But First Citizens has a business funding program. They got First Bank. So usually the banks that are giving out the most money in deposits are getting the most money and giving out and has the most assets. Those are the people that's going to most likely you're going to be able to access some capital from. So I would click on those banks, right? Let's go on First Citizens, right? And I'll just go to their website and see what business funding products can I access on First Citizens website. So I'll just go to small business and see if they have any business credit cards, business lines of credit, and see how can I apply. Call them up, see what the qualifications are, and now I'll put that on my list. So that's how I started creating a list of banks where I can access business credit and lines of business credit cards. Small business, find business credit cards. They definitely have business credit cards you can apply for. Now, being that is in North Carolina, for people that's not in North Carolina, right? See, this is a list of their credit cards. The next step I would do, right? Go on Bank Branch Locator. Say I come along First Citizens and I'm not in North Carolina. Now I got to figure out, am I in the vicinity to get access to First Citizens Bank? Because I may not live in North Carolina. So I'll check what states First Citizens actually go to. So definitely North Carolina, South Carolina, but they go to all these other states as well. The major states, I see South Carolina, North Carolina, California, Virginia. It's some pretty major offices they have. They have a couple offices in these smaller states, so they may have some banks there, they may not. But they're definitely heavy in California. They're heavy in South, and I didn't even know that. They're heavy in South Carolina. They're heavy in Virginia. And they got a couple offices in these smaller states. They're heavy in Florida as well. So these are all the other states that can access First Citizens as well. So I would do that in your jurisdiction, right? This is something I want everybody to do, right? Wherever you live at, you guys should be going to ibanknet.com to start to see what other banks, other than the major ones that everybody is talking about, that give out funding, that give out capital, and create your own list. Call them up. You can ask these bankers all types of questions. They'll answer your questions. Walk in there, get close to a bank branch manager, or get close to a relationship manager. Start asking them questions on what do I need to do to qualify for this? What are the guidelines for this? What do I have to submit to get this? And you guys have to go out to start doing the work in order to get this funding. You'll get your answers, and then you'll find out, you'll get some banks that people may not know about or that you didn't know about, where you can get lines of credit, you can get funded. It don't always have to be the same banks that we're talking about or going over. You can have a list of banks in your vicinity that you may not know that you could get funding from. Yo, put some tools in the chat if y'all follow me. Put some tools in the chat if you guys are still following me. Great, great, great. What's going on, Jessica? Alan, what's going on? How many people on this call right now have a 680 and above credit score? Put a yes in the chat if you have a 680 and above credit score. He ain't got to put it there. He put an 830, huh? Yes, yes. That's what I like to see. Yes, yes, yes. Copy. Okay, okay, great. Everybody that has a 680 and above credit score, do you guys have business funding for your business currently? No, yes. Steve, yes. I need more. All right, so if you don't have business funding, what is stopping you currently? If you do not have business funding for your business, what is currently stopping you? I had to get an equity partner. My credit took a dip. It means you need some credit repair. We could definitely help you with credit repair as well. Education, okay. High risk. What business you do, Ken? So if your business, all right, so is your business LLC have trucking in it? If your business LLC is high risk and has trucking in it, what I would do.
Sorry about that. Yeah, so it have a trucking, you have trucking LLC in it.
So what I would do, right? You can do trucking, but what I would do, I would go on your Secretary of State, right? And do an amendment and just change the name. Change the name, because anything, if you have trucking in it, yes, as far as when it comes to funding, you may get a hard time. So what I would suggest to do to you, go on the Secretary of State. I don't know what state you're in. You can expedite it as well. I would just go in there and just change the name to something more safe and more generic. Like you could put Dispatch Management LLC. Like that sounds a lot better than actually doing trucking. Logistics. But logistics, it depends, right? Because logistics, they may ask exactly what do you do, right? So like I said, that comes down to the description of your business. So I would just have a detailed breakdown of what do you do exactly in logistics? Because logistics, it could be fine, but just depending on what you do in logistics, right? So I would just have a detailed breakdown on what do you do in logistics. But that could be safe. I'm trying to get it without pulling from Experian. But yeah, if you have any issues with you guys LLC, right, when it comes to addresses, right? So that's one of the foundational steps, right? Let's talk about having your LLC set up properly to actually walk in the bank. We want to have that name right, right? You can go on name check. You can go on the Secretary of State, check if your name is taken, and then actually choose a safe name. When you have that safe name, you want to get that email, that business email, and that domain name. So these are some of the things that will help you when you walk in the bank. Looking professional. So instead of giving them that Gmail, give them that business email. You could be whatever your LLC is, whatever your name is, Brandon at millionaireessentials.com, right? That's my email, Brandon at millionaireessentials.com. That's a professional email. They see that's my business. I'm not going in there with a Yahoo or Gmail, personal emails, right? I'm giving them the business email. And then set up a domain name, right? So you guys, if you don't have an official website, you can just set up a quick dummy site on GoDaddy. It's not that hard. It's pretty simple. You got set it up yourself, or you could pay somebody on Fiverr a couple dollars to set up a basic website, right? It could be a regular general consulting opt-in site where they could book an appointment. But now you just have something visible online where now if the bank asks you for a website or where you do marketing at, you can send them that. They're going to pull it up and they're going to say, oh, okay, these guys are official. That helps. So I would get your domain name. Your domain name is your website, right? www.brandonmillionaireessentials.com. That's your domain name. So go on GoDaddy, get your official email, get your domain name. Now you're official. So anytime bankers ask for a website, and some of them do ask for websites, you have it to give to them. Now, we want to get an official business phone number as well. So not just, don't use our area codes 917, 516, 646. Those are cell phones where I'm at, right? We don't want to give the bankers our cell phone numbers, right? Number one, we don't want to put that on our entity as well, because all of this is public information. So when you put your business phone number out there and you list it, it's public information. So we don't want to do that, right? You want to tell me, you sharing your screen?
Yep. Sharing the screen. I'm about to write down so these people can see what you're saying.
Okay. So yeah, we don't want to give our real phone number or our personal phone number out, right? We want to set up a business line, maybe an 877 number, an 800 number, any business line that can get forwarded to your cell phone or another line where people can take calls. We want to set that up, because your business number is public information. Everything about your business, I can pull up, everybody can pull. It's usually public information. So you want to set up a business phone number. Also, you want to have a business address. A lot of people, just because they want to do it the quick route, they use their personal address. Just remember, your personal address is public information. So if somebody Googles your business, your personal address is going to come up. Somebody looks up your business, your personal address is going to come up. You sell a product or something happens, your personal address is going to come up. So you want to separate that from the business. And as well, it's a red flag when they see residential addresses, because now you're going to have to explain, what do you do working at home? And they're going to ask you a whole bunch of questions on how do you work at home? Where's your working space? All these different things. Not that it's not possible to work at home, because a lot of people do. If you really do work at home, then I would say make sure you have that breakdown on how you work, exactly what you do, because it is possible for people to work at home. Obviously, we just came out the COVID era, but more than likely, I will have a separate physical address other than your home address. Another reason for that is, like I said, they don't want to see residential addresses. They want to see commercial addresses, and not PO box, not mailboxes. So what we do is usually set up a virtual address. You can go on places like DaVinci, Opus. They give you virtual addresses. Physicaladdress.com. There's Regis's. All of these places give you virtual addresses. What that is, they basically give you an office space where you can actually rent, because sometimes people do inspections depending on what business you're in, like trucking, or healthcare. You may have to have an actual office space, or some bankers may want to actually come to your actual business and make sure it's actual business. So I would get a virtual address, where's one where you can rent office space and collect mail. And that's where you're going to use as your business address. Usually you used to have to pay monthly for that. So now we have our name, we have our domain name, we have our email, we have our business phone number, we have our business address, right? So these are some of the foundational steps. Like, it is a must, because we want to look as professional as possible when we're working in the bank. A lot of people skip some of this and they wonder why they get denied, because maybe you had a red flag name, right? Your credit score was too low, using a personal address. I have seen people get denied of personal addresses. They actually pulled it up and said this was a personal address or a mailbox. So I have seen people get denied of personal addresses. Structure is key. They can pull up your address and see if it's a residential, commercial, or mailbox. I've seen them do it like on the spot. So that's why I'm stressing that address, especially nowadays. The next thing I want you guys to set up and make sure you have in place. So what we have, the name, the email, the domain, the business phone number, the business address. I want you guys to set up also a NAV account as well. Now, a NAV account, NAV.com, a lot of people ask us about building business credit non-PG, right? So it's two ways to build business credit. PG, personal guaranteeing. That's when you're using your credit score to get business credit, and non-PG. So I would suggest the fastest way and to get the highest limits is PG, and you get 100K within 30 days, right? But you can also build it non-PG, which is getting trade lines, net 30s, net 60s, net 90s, paying those back over time. And that builds up your Paydex score, which is your Dun & Bradstreet, your Experian business, and your Equifax business. Now, that can help you slightly to access business credit as well. If you keep building those business scores up over time, that will help you get a business card in your name without PGing. Now, to get a line of credit at 50 and 100K without PGing, that's going to require bank statements. There's really no way around that. You will have to build up years and years of business credit. And really, regardless, they're still going to ask for one or two things, your credit score or bank statements. So a lot of people talk about getting 50, 100K from a major bank, no PG. That's really not a thing nowadays in 2023. You're not going to Chase and saying you're not PG and you're going to walk in there and with a business loan of 100K just off business credit scores. They're going to ask for documents. They want to see what you're making, or they're going to ask to pull your credit. You can get a car in your name and a business name, no PG. Yes, that's absolutely possible with your business scores. So that is one advantage. You get that 80 Paydex, you build up that Experian and that Equifax, you can get a car in your name, no PG. So that is one advantage. And you can get some smaller credit cards as well. You can get some credit cards, no PG as well. So that is another advantage. So that is a must. I would say go on nav.com, build up that business credit, because you can get some fuel cards, you get some credit cards, you can get a car in your name, PG. And it will help boost you as far as your SBSS score as well. That helps with SBA loans, and that does help when accessing walking in that bank with getting business credit as well. Put some fives in the chat if y'all getting some value. Put some fives in the chat if you are getting some value from this. I'm running the 100K blueprint with my business partner. If you already have business credit, is having NAV useful? Like I said, it is useful because that NAV does help you get that auto loan in your business name. Excuse me. I have seen that help. But if you have an immaculate credit score, you don't have to wreck your brain running up these business scores. It's an addition. It's not a must. Put it that way. It is an addition. It is not a must if you have an immaculate credit score. Another thing I want you guys to do, right? So while we're setting up our structure, right? While we're setting up our foundation, right? You guys need to pay attention to actually starting to open up payroll. So this is another key thing, right? That I usually do along the path, especially if you guys are starting to make income. Especially if you guys' goal is to make income, right? So we use ADP, right? I'm gonna give you guys a quick hack. So a lot of people don't have bank statements, right? So bank statements, to be honest, bank statements is one of the biggest keys to getting business funding, because if you have maybe a lower end credit score, even if you have a higher credit score, and the bank asks you, I may want to see usually 3 months bank statements, right? That's usually kind of what a lot of these bank statement loans are asked. They usually ask, can I see 3 months bank statements, the last 90 days? What you guys can do, here's a little hack, and we're actually going to bring one of our ADP guys on a call maybe next week or the week after. I want you to make sure you guys are paying attention. You can use this ADP hack, right? So you guys can create your own bank statements. By that, if you have a business credit card, right? You may have $5,000, $10,000 credit card. You guys can put a credit card on your payroll and pay yourself off your credit card. So now by doing that, say I have, for example, let's just say I have a Chase card, right? I just got approved for 10, 20, 30K Chase card, right? I'm going to put that Chase in card on payroll, right? Now I'm going to pay myself, let's just say $5K every 2 weeks off that Chase card. Now that Chase card is going to be on payroll. They're going to take the money off that Chase card, put it in my bank account, and generate a paycheck for me. Now in different states, you have to work out what the taxes is, all the logistics for your state. Consult with your CPA. You should have one, work out, how you're going to do your taxes. But when you create that, now you're paying yourself. Now that's going to be an official paycheck where you just got paid out $5K off the funding you just received. Now, what that does is that's now generating a bank statement of money coming in. So that $5K is going to come into your bank account first, right? It's going to come into your bank account. So they're going to see $5K generated in your bank account. And then you can choose to pay. You can choose to pay yourself whatever, $5K. Now, that's every 2 weeks. So that's $10K every month you're paying yourself. Now you're going to look like you have $10K coming in every month off of that Chase Ink card you just got funded. Now you do that for 90 days. Now you have a steady income of $10K coming in every single month. And you're paying yourself a salary as well at 0% interest, because Chase Ink is 0% interest for 12 months. So now you can start out the game paying yourself a salary and generating bank statements. So now it looks like you have income coming in every month. Now, if a banker says, oh, let me see what you've been making monthly. Oh, you can show them I have, 10K coming in monthly, or whatever you set it on. It could be 20K. And then you just make it full circle. You pay that money right back to the Chase card. And just keep doing that in rotation. So that's how you guys can manufacture bank statements to now take to the bank. Some banks may require minimum $25K a month to match you on funding. Or for $25K, they may give you $25K line of credit or $50K line of credit. So that's how now you generate bank statements. I'm having my ADP guy come on next week. We'll try to do that next week, so he could probably break down getting you guys started with ADP. Whoever is ready to start doing payroll.
I have a quick question.
Go ahead.
Okay, so we're doing it that way. So say for instance, we get the Chase card and they ask for the bank statement. Should we do that within the same bank? Like if I have Truist, can I go to Chase and show my 3 months bank statement from my Truist account to Chase? Like if I go and
Yes.
open them up recently?
Yes, absolutely. So that's kind of where we come in, right? We have some relationship with bankers where if whoever is currently making money in business, 10, 25, 30K a month, I would say be honest, minimum for the type of money we're looking at, like 50, 100K, they're looking at 25K a month, right? They're looking for minimum usually around 25, 30K a month. That's what they're looking to see. So yes, they're going to ask you, can you show? It could be from any other bank. They're going to ask you from Chase, because obviously you're trying to get funded for them. So they could say, show me, the last 3 bank statements you have from your business. So you could show them whatever bank you have set up, show them the last 3 of those bank statements, go in there, and they're going to give you what they could give you based on those bank statements.
All right, thank you.
So there's a lot of relationships we have that we do bank statement loans. It's another gem I had. I'm gonna save that one. Because we got somebody around, I think close to 100K matching bank statements. What business you in, Jessica?
I have a trucking company, but it is called logistics. So I haven't really faced much issues. The only issue I had was kind of like my credit. So I was trying to get with like a credit partner in a sense, like put like my mom or something on my business so that I can get approved for like a little more lines of credit. But I guess I never thought about it doing it that way because, as far as my bank statements, I make the money, but it's just when I go to PG, it's not, I get denied based on that. So if I can take my bank statements from Truist and go over to, the Key or go over to, PNC or whatever, you know what I mean? Like that would probably work for me if you kind of doing it that way.
Absolutely. Are you working on your credit currently?
Yeah, I am. I'm working on my credit. I've been working on it like for a minute. I done paid some people and stuff like that too. So now I'm trying to just like get it right on my own. I'm gonna try it out.
Okay. We got a great program. If you do need help, it's definitely affordable. You could tap in with us. We could definitely help you on that credit. But as far as if you do find a credit partner, and anybody that has a 680 plus credit score, if you guys are ready for funding, we have the relationship set up already. We definitely can help you guys get funding. I think Tevin, you could drop that link in the chat. I'm gonna drop
Yep, got you. Got you.
We're gonna drop our job form link in the chat. If you guys do have a 680 credit score, definitely tap in and we get you guys funded within 30 days. That is the goal. So if you guys are ready for funding, whoever does have a 680 above credit score, no late payments, no collections, has at least 2 to 3 personal credit, high limit personal credit cards, and you have an LLC set up at least 30 days. Let's review your profile and let's get going with some funding. So that's the link right there. If you do have a credit partner that meets that criteria, you guys could use that link and we could get some funding. So one thing we also want to focus on, I got client 9K from Navy. I know it's on the low end, but I wanted to get a secure business loan with that from 3 other banks. They have using that same 9K. Do you recommend that? Talk Money, can you unmute? Break that down.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you. Yeah, thank you for everything you're doing too. So yeah, I went and got them. They had some more recent inquiries. So I went ahead, Navy said, okay, 9K. I was gonna go ahead and get like 5K, go ahead and liquidate that, then allow them to get a secured business loan. They have Chase, they have Truist, they have US Bank. I was gonna go ahead and have them flip that same 5, go ahead and get with Truist, get a secured business loan. Once they get that, then they can go with US Bank, get a secured, for the same 5, just so they can establish that business credit. That's why I kind of asked you, having those, if you already have business credit and those trade lines already with business banking, do they really need to have the NAV account? Because I was going to go ahead and shoot that next, like go ahead and, just start stacking it up, like, how y'all play the rule book.
Yeah, so depending on what that person's profile is, right? If you do have to build it up, so I don't know what the profile looks like, but if you do have to build it up and you do have to get like some installment accounts, like a pledge loan or things of that nature, and he has some business credit, that is one way to do it. You can build up and do a couple use talking about the pledge loan, right?
Correct. Well,
Yeah,
no, he got a business credit card. The 9K was a secured, was not a secured, it was an unsecured business credit card. But you're saying I need to go back to Navy Federal and get a pledge loan?
That's if you need to build their profile up. So if they got approved for 9K, right? Did they have a decent personal profile already?
They do, actually. And I'm going to actually use your link to, we're going to holler at y'all tomorrow.
Yeah, so if they have a decent personal profile, I would take a look at that profile, analyze it. But if their personal profile is good already, I would keep running up the business credit. I would keep business credit.
Okay.
Yeah, they already have a good
and that's basically what y'all have in y'all referral portal is running up the business credit.
Yeah, so that link, that link is the link to if you need funding. Yeah. So all we do mostly is basically, not all we do, but we focus on business credit. We can do personal credit if needed, right? So we can build up the personal, obviously, but the main goal is to get that business credit. So once they personal is good, then I would just run up the business credit, because you're going to get 10 to 100 times more on the business side. Once you have a good, strong personal credit profile, you don't need to continue getting a bunch of personal credit cards. Maybe just extending your limits, or maybe getting cards for status. And that's a whole nother conversation, right? Maybe just getting some cards for status. But other than that, everything needs to be on the business side.
Absolutely. So that's the point where we're at right now. So yeah, I definitely appreciate y'all.
No problem. So another thing we want to go over, right? That I definitely want to break down. So a lot of us are getting funding for our businesses, which is great, right? A lot of things that's happening, like I said, in the last couple of years, 2022, 2021, 2023, a lot of people are defaulting because you guys are not knowing what to do with this funding money. And that's the reality of the situation. A lot of people is getting a whole bunch of funding, 100K, 200K, and still owing 200K 2-3 years later because your business is not profitable. One of the things we've been teaching is how to do exactly what we're breaking down and make money off of it. So one of the things everybody, no matter what you're doing, that you can add on to your business is actually becoming a funding company. So everything that I'm breaking down in these calls, our relationship that we have, the sequences that we have, the no doc loans. If you know how to fund yourself, you can fund somebody else. So if you do trucking, you do rental cars, you do consulting, you do your CPA, everybody needs business funding. So if I could get funding for somebody and collect a fee off of that, you can always make side money, or it could be your main money. You can easily make 5 to 6 figures a month off having a funding company. So one of the things we teach is how to become a funding company, how to build out your CRMs, how to do marketing, how to get clients, how to get customers, how to actually fund them, how to actually fund yourself. So that's something I definitely think everybody should add on to their business. Learn how to fund yourself and learn how to fund others, and you will always be able to make a profit off of that, because everybody in these industries always need funding. So that's what we teach in our mentorship. So we're starting our mentorship back up. We want to make sure we going hard in this fourth quarter, and we going hard. We bringing a bunch of people in this mentorship that's going to ensure you guys get funding, that's going to ensure you guys get the tools and the steps necessary to be able to build that funding company up. So this fourth quarter, we want to make sure everybody come out this fourth quarter profitable and ramp up for the first start of 2024, because how you end this year is going to determine how you start this year. Put a yes in the chat if y'all agree with that. How you end this year is going to determine how you start next year. I want to see some yeses in the chat if y'all agree with that statement.
Brandon, I got a quick question.
Abdul, what's going on?
Hey, I know you are good. I know you went through the ibank.net, that website, and then I know you talked about you can go through your state and then the city and the county, and I kind of missed that. Is it possible we can run that back, or we have to wait till the end of the so that way you know exactly, because everybody's in a different state, so that way you know exactly where your state at, how, because I know when you click on the state, it's going to open up the map and all that kind of stuff. Though you can go to the city or county or that, so to see all the bank that is located there.
So this is because we do these calls every week, right? So I'm not going all the way back because we went through a lot. So I don't want to go all the way back.
Okay, sounds good. No problem.
Forward.
Okay.
But are you in a Telegram?
Yes, I am.
Okay, good. So I'm gonna drop the iBankNet and the bank branch locator. I'm gonna drop that in the Telegram. I'll try to do that probably by tomorrow and have a breakdown of both of those, iBankNet and bank branch locator.
Yeah, I mean, I think you dropped it a long time ago in RPX, or so I have that, but how just to navigate through that is an issue. But thank you.
No problem.
All right.
So one thing I want to make sure you guys end this year strong and make sure you're profitable. We are ramping up our mentorship. So if anybody is interested in our mentorship and learning how to become a profitable funding company and make that 5 to 6 figures a month, and we will help fund your first client using our relationships. We are going to help you fund your first client using our relationships and our network. You can set up a call with us. I'm going to drop my calendar link. Matter of fact, I gotta look for my calendar link. Yeah, I'm gonna drop my calendar link. You can set up a call with us if anybody is interested in joining our mentorship. Ted, you got the link on you?
I'm trying to find it for you right now.
In the Telegram, yes. Y'all just order credit with this link. Y'all don't pull anything, correct? And then we can, we don't pull anything. With that funding link, no, nothing is getting pulled. Nothing is getting pulled with that funding link. Yes, nothing is getting pulled. No hard pulls through that link.
Here you go. Just drop the calendar.
Yeah, if you guys want to join the mentorship, definitely jump on a call. Let's go over it to see if you guys are a good fit or see where a good fit for you, to see if you guys are interested in becoming or knowing how to create a funding company. We'll take a couple questions. We're pretty much wrapping up, but anybody got any questions, raise your hand about anything we went over or just in fund in general. Funding structure, how we can help set up your LLC, creating a profitable funding company. If anybody got any questions, let's ask them now. What if you live outside the U.S.? Do you have a business in the U.S.? Michelle. I hope I said your name right. You can unmute. You should be able to unmute.
Michelle, she's
hear
on
you.
mute. We can't hear you.
No, I can't hear you at all. You unmuted, but I can't hear you.
Yeah, I think. Do you have a microphone plugged in or something? Headphones? Something?
Maybe try to jump out and jump back in. I'm not sure. I'm assuming that's neither 9 ether.
Yes, 9 ether. Yeah, greetings.
Huh?
Yes, 9 ether.
9 ether. Okay, I thought it was like a license plate. I thought neither. I thought it meant neither.
Oh, yeah. I'm in Jamaica.
Big ups.
I'm at Jamaica.
Big ups. Big ups.
Yeah, tell me about that.
So I was asking if I could create a CPN and build personal, and also register a company and build a personal with a CPN number.
Your best option would be to get the ITIN number in order for you to build. The ITIN is always the best route, just because it automatically gets registered, because when they start to pull, social and everything like that, or the ITIN number, as you start to build it up, then it will start to actually they'll actually be able to verify who you are based upon that. Because if you use the other route, it doesn't work the best. Just being completely honest. The ITIN number is usually the best option.
And how long will that take to build? Would it take 90 days to build a decent personal?
It depends. I haven't personally built the ITIN number myself. But you'd have to start the process at least. Try to start the process, and then once you start the process, then you can build it just like a personal credit. Like anybody with personal credit, but you just got to build it properly. That's it.
All right, thank you.
Not a problem. Not a problem. Michelle, were you able to get the microphone fixed?
You still having problems?
Oh man, I was speaking to her earlier. I gotta get back in contact with her tomorrow. But Jessica.
Okay, excuse my background noise, but okay, so with the funding company, like what you're saying, starting that kind of business, say for instance, like back again with the credit partner or whatever you want to call it, equity partner or whatnot, if I'm using someone else's like credit or PG stuff for like a business, is there a way possible to like get those inquiries off, or it wouldn't show because it's being PG as business side, or how does that part work when it comes to even like getting people funding? Like say we go to 3 banks a day or whatever the case may be, are we getting those inquiries off as well?
So we want to maximize the amount of funding that we could get, and we want to minimize inquiries, right? So this is some of the stuff we teach as well.
Heard me?
To target the right banks to go to, maximize the funding, right? So we want those high banks, those no doc banks, because we don't want to just pile up inquiries and get denied. So that's why we want to make sure everything is right, so we get the right banks and we don't pile up a ton of inquiries. So regardless, we are going to get inquiries, right? So when you pay, they're going to pull your personal credit. You're going to get the inquiry in your personal, but the business funding be on the business side, is not going to reflect on the personal profile. But you are going to inquire the inquiry on the personal. So what we do, we give out our 24-hour inquiry removal guide. So we want you guys to use the 24-hour inquiry removal guide, Experian, Equifax, TransUnion, and call up as soon as you do those inquiries. Call up right away and get those inquiries removed. Worst come to worst, if you got a fax in a letter or two, if the worst come to worst, you have to do that, then that's what you may have to do as well. But definitely that 24-hour inquiry removal guide, as soon as you get that inquiry, we want you guys to call up and basically get those inquiries removed.
Right, and they won't remove the account, because I've seen sometimes when they do that 24-hour thing, they like you jeopardize removing the account or something like that. But being that it's not on your personal, it shouldn't remove the business side, right?
Yeah, so being that it doesn't reflect on your personal, They're gonna look it up. You may have got approved for 50K Chase Ink card on the business side, right? It's not gonna show you your personal. So now you call up and get that Chase business inquiry removed. It's gonna show up either Experian or Equifax most of the time. I don't know where you're at. So now you call up and just tell them you like that removed. So we usually send out that 24-hour inquiry removal guide, and then have you guys do that.
All right, and then one last thing. How do you ensure that the people pay you on the back end? Like, how do you if your percentage is 10% or 7%, 5%? Like, how do you make sure that they don't just you do the application form and they just run off with that 50,000 or whatever? How do you ensure that you get paid?
There's a bunch of steps that we go through with that. That would get a little deeper inside in the mentorship. So there's a bunch of different things that we go through with that. There's different ways. We definitely send them to collections, worst come to worst, but we definitely collect a lot of information from them. We use it's a bunch of different techniques. I don't want to go too deep in that on this call because we're about near the end. But that's some things we go over in the mentorship, and we break that down to ensure we're getting paid.
All right, I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all again for putting this on.
Of course, not a problem. Thank you, Jessica, for asking the necessary questions. Appreciate it.
We're gonna Steven, and then we're gonna get to Michelle. Hopefully we can get to Michelle.
Can you hear me?
Oh,
woohoo! That's what I'm talking about.
Back, y'all. She back. All right,
go ahead, Steve.
Let's get to Steve, and then we're gonna go ahead.
How everybody doing tonight? Yeah, I got a quick question. When you start a new LLC, do you have to use a different address for every LLC?
Not really.
Oh, what you can do, right? I would say yes, but also if you have a building with suites in it, you can do that. So now if I have, let's just say 50-50 Old Town Road, I can say I have an address 50-50 Old Town Road Suite 1, 50-50 Old Town Road Suite 2, Suite 3. So it has to be separated by something. You should not use the same exact address for different businesses. No, do not do that. But if you have suite numbers where you could say it's separated, this is a commercial building with different rooms, different business locations, then you can do that. That's how.
Okay, gotcha.
So yeah, you can do that. Just make sure there's a type of separation there.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
No problem. Michelle.
Hey. How are you? Two things, please.
Great.
Can you hear me? Yeah, I'm good.
Yes.
All right. Is this funding that we're talking about for personal or for business only?
So we can do both, but we're mainly talking about business today. Today we're mainly business. We can do personal funding as well if you need it, but we turn up your personal to use it on the business.
Okay. Next question. Can you get an LLC with bad credit, or does credit have anything to do with LLC?
Credit has absolutely nothing to do with
Okay, so I can set up an LLC with bad credit, but it doesn't guarantee that, and then I can apply for funding or just wait until the credit gets better.
So yes, if you're PGing, I would definitely get some credit repair before you apply for funding. You can do business. That don't stop you from making money. You can sell your product, business, you would do your services. As far as getting funding or just funding in general, I would do some credit repair first.
Okay. All right.
And if you need help with that, book a call. We dropped the calendar.
Okay.
Book a call.
Yeah. I asked because I had a little situation going on and I forgot to ask when I was on the call earlier. When I was going to get information about the company. So I'll, just drop it, or Tevin can call me later or tomorrow, that I can get further information on the situation, see which way I can get some help.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you.
Definitely appreciate you. Appreciate everybody for jumping on this call. Once again, this is Millionaire Essentials. We doing these calls every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern till the end of it. We're going to start having some guests come on. We probably will bring our ADP rep on in, fill out that job form, and let's get you guys funded.
Also, check out our YouTube when you get a chance. We drop a lot of gems. We also have, a couple podcasts that we did, a couple podcasts we've been on, a couple interviews. We're also going to be at the Credit Summit in Atlanta. So I know there's a couple of you that are in Atlanta. So we're going to be down there speaking as well. So, we're moving and shaking.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, moving and shaking. And if you have any, cousins or sisters or aunties and uncles that are, completely Spanish speaking, we have dropped some Spanish speaking videos on our YouTube as well, so that they can get the information. And we are going to be dropping a course very soon with the Spanish speaking videos as well, so that people can understand and take in this information no matter what language or dialect they are.
Okay.
Brandon said, check out the job form that we have in order to check out your credit. Check out the Telegram group, that's free. Check out the YouTube, that's also free. And also a couple podcasts that we've been on, and as well as, $1 million worth of game, Marvin Francois, and a couple other podcasts that we've been on, just dropping game and knowledge and free gems for people.